Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus, and getting me into Glyos is far from the only thing that the gentleman at the helm of Nistuff and the 481 universe has done. He's got custom-painted figures, original resin-cast pieces, and his own line of static anomalies figurines. But in this video, we'll be looking at Nistuff's first full multi-component production figure, the Outlander. Sculpted in Aves epoxy clay almost entirely from scratch, dremeled and cut with a bandsaw, and then sent off to the Glyos factory for prototyping, this blue-hued test shot represents the culmination of countless hours of hands-on analog development, mostly by one guy with some help from Matt Dowdy. It's pretty clear that the Outlander is meant to evoke a very alien look between his almost but not quite human proportions and spooky domish head. I love the slopes of the helmet and limbs, especially in tandem with the hoof-like boots he's wearing. He also looks really natural alongside a Glyos traveler, which makes sense as that's an aesthetic Nistuff very much wanted to evoke and homage. This guy's very much an otherworldly astronaut, as his slightly scowly helmet piece can actually pop off to reveal a very detailed head sculpt that reminds me of the best aspects of the engineers from Prometheus. It's got some really cool ridged details that run down the back, almost resembling a robotic alternate face if you were to swivel it around 180 degrees. The helmet snugly fastens down onto these details, and can also be swiveled around to appear more like a giant visored space cop deal. By the way, if you do find his torso and hip proportions to be a bit off, the chest is designed to be flipped from its high-collared basic position into a slightly more human-looking position, whose collar details match up nicely with the shoulder ridges. The sculpt very cleverly maintains the lines of the shoulder blades in either orientation, and thanks to its use of the Glyos peg system, this is all really easy to do with minimal risk to the figure's durable PVC form. The Outlander is actually very build-friendly, busting down into 18 components that include 2 of the highly versatile switch pins, which allow any female ports to directly connect together. Every piece bears sculpting on all sides, meaning that even a simple 180-degree turn can look natural, and not like you're using the back or the butt as the chest or the crotch. Backs, butts, crotches, and chests, all those things come together to pose. This guy's posability is all swivels. He's a Glyos-oriented figure, ergo all of his posability is based on the fact that every single connection point is more or less a nice stiff swivel joint, on the case of this guy. If it gets a bit loose, this is PVC, just let it sit for a second, and it'll become nice. So, his shoulders can move forward and backwards at the shoulder. They can swivel at the bicep, i.e. his arms can swivel, not his shoulders. We're getting a little bit vertical here. His wrists can swivel. He's got a waist swivel in his ab area. He's got hip swivels. He's got a swivel right above his knee that goes all sideways. And he's got this really cool thing. I think this is the most interesting joint on the basic Outlander. This diagonal swivel on the, I guess, the ankle point. On its own, it doesn't do lots, but I think that in builds, this means that if you're just using this leg has a built-in ankle tilt. And with swing joints and axis joints and hub sets and whatnot filling in for knees, this could be pretty cool with without you having to figure out how to design an ankle tilt, because it's already baked into the sculpt. So that's really neat. His head can turn left and right with the helmet on, even. The helmet's kind of bouncing on and off of its connection points here, but I think it looks okay. It's kind of like how with the Travelers, I kind of half pop the pin out of the neck stump to have them able to look up and down, and you can kind of do the same thing here. But pulling it off, you've just got a swivel. Now, what I wanted to show you guys is what this thing looks like with other heads on, and just one other head, really, because if you want to see Traveler heads and stuff like that, Nistuff already has pictures up on his website, so I'm going to use a Glyan head, because it resembles the Outlander head already quite a bit. So maybe I'm cheating, I don't know. But in this configuration, I think this looks great. This looks like it's like an Emperor Glyan with this big pop Ming collar on, and he's all like commanding the Glyan and legions and something or other. And you flip it around, and he has a faceplate in his arm I just knocked off. That was my fault. Hey, let's flip this around and see what the Glyan head looks like with the other torso configuration. It looks a whole lot like a Glyan who is missing his neck. Bummer. However, if you swivel around, then it's a faceplated Glyan with a kind of fakey fake round neck, so I guess that kind of works a little bit better. Anyway, I came up with a neat contain build for the Outlander, and I wanted to share that with you guys, and to save you some trouble, let's get old-timey and let's Hitchcock it! Hitchcocked! So this is like a little, I guess, ED-209 style drone or robot walker. He's got some chicken legs going on, he's got some cannon hands, and he's got like a big-ass visor. I guess you could take this off too, and he'd just be like a robot like this. This is kind of neat as well. Only bummer is that, like, I love this thing as a robot face, but you do have this total, complete and utter face on the back of it, which is kind of odd. And I was trying to figure out if I could maybe just cover that part with this. This doesn't look right, so I just put this all the way down, and I was like, hey, it's like a SWAT robot thing. It's all like vreep, vreep, vreep. You know, put the gun down. I put the gun down. No, you didn't. Ga. Hey, RoboCop, let's cock up that hitch one more time! Nistuff posted this build on his blog. This is basically the entire figure with all of the arm stuff instead integrated into the legs to form this friggin' cool-looking silhouette. He used another Outlander to build some really cool arms. I don't have another one, so I made some arms. These are just an axis joint set and a couple of bits from some Glyos arms. I think like I used the forearm or something. Anyway, I just threw these together so that you could see what this would look like with full-on armatureness. In fact, let's swap the heads. Let's go for it. Let's stick on this little guy. So Emperor Glyos is all like, you will kneel. Whoops. Not gonna rule over the Glyos with their arms popping off, buddy. So this, I think, really highlights just the cool alien nature of the curvatures of the sculpt on the Outlander, and it shows some of the unique stuff this can bring to Glyos building. I mean, this thing is dripping full of character. Its center of balance is completely crazy, but you can mess around with this some more. You maybe add in some different parts in lieu of some of these things back here, or just build them out into a more solid skeleton. But I think this looks super cool, because this looks like a creature from the same fiction but completely different universe than the Travelers, and I think it's really cool. I'm kind of looking forward to grabbing an Outlander, hopefully at some point, just in like black with a glow-in-the-dark head, so I can add him to my Hades force, because these dudes look like they're just ready to wreck the town. Hades is just all like, I could shoot you, but my friend here has enormous legs, so he's gonna kick you. Anyway, the Outlander has build potential, and it brings something new to the table. And that's what I personally really was hoping for out of it. And that's outside of the fact that it also has a strong aesthetic identity. As a standalone figure, the Outlander's got a ton of personality. His solo playability is alright thanks to the poppable helmet and flippable chest, and his contained build potential's surprisingly robust thanks to his decent parts count and creative construction. In the realm of Glyos-compatible toys, the Outlander ranks right up there with Colgrim. He isn't foreign to the Glyos overall aesthetic, but brings his own unique contributions and feels like a welcome visitor to that PVC universe. What makes me the most pleased about the Outlander is how incredibly ambitious he is for Nistuff's first multi-component production figure. Nistuff went for a very careful compromise between something made for builds, like the Build Men, and something made for its standalone aesthetics, like the Travelers. On top of that, he's used some very unique angles on his parts cuts, and topped it off with a really cool removable helmet feature. And through all those aspects, the Outlander doesn't fall apart or collapse in on itself. It's a very solid little thing, and well worth the price once it releases. Nistuff's planning to charge $8 for unpainted copies of this guy in clear or opaque plastics, and $10 to $12 for more complex painted versions. He's also going to be working on some new limbs, and some new heads that'll also be able to fit inside the helmet. Keep an eye on his Twitter, the Glyos forum, or 481universe.com for more info on when the actual product drops will take place. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus, and I am really looking forward to the first production run on the Outlander. Feels kind of full circle, since Nistuff's the one who got the Glyos bug in my blood in the first place. If anything I've done has transmitted that addiction to you, just remember, he's the reason.